He's gonna kill me, he's gonna get one of his friends to kill me, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Blood or something. I called the cops. Hey, what's up you guys, it's me Luke and welcome back to another video, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. So today I decided to go ahead and film a video that I've been putting off for so fucking long, but there are multiple reasons why I didn't film this video. The main one being that I am just scared shitless that the person that I'm speaking about is going to watch this and come after me and try and murder me, and you know, I kind of like living. So I'm really putting myself on the line here for you guys to tell you guys a story, but a lot of you really wanted to hear it. If you watched my video on how I moved out of home when I was 17, which I'll link down below, I briefly discussed how I had some really unique roommates, and I asked you guys if you wanted to hear about some of the things that they did, and you guys said that you wanted to hear it, so here I am providing you with the goods. At the end of the day, I'm really putting myself on the line, so I'd like really appreciate it if you guys give this video a big fat thumbs up, because then maybe it would make putting my life at risk kind of worthwhile. Alrighty guys, without further ado, let's just get on into the story time. So basically, like I said in that video, I'm not going to reiterate everything I said because in this video it would be too long, but I'm just going to briefly mention that I moved out of home when I was 17, halfway through grade 12, and the way I moved out of home was through a youth accommodation service, and they had a share house, which they had 3 teenagers in, 2 at the time, and then I would be the 3rd. So before I moved in, they were like, here, you can come meet the people. I met the first person, they were really lovely. I'm saying they because they are gender fluid, and I don't want to like offend them. They seemed kind of quiet and distant, but I was kind of like, oh, you know, whatever, like they probably are just nervous around strangers. And then the other person, who the story is about, let's name him like Joe Blow. So Joe Blow was asleep and it was 12:30 p.m. so you know, kind of a sign. So they were like, oh, you know, Joe Blow's just sleeping, whatever. The youth worker was asking, let's call him Sam. The youth worker was asking Sam if Joe Blow had been doing their chores, and they were like, no. So I was like, okay, you know, whatever, he's a messy teenager, like, we can deal. So I saw the place, it was fine. He eventually woke up, looked like he just had a rough night. So, you know, I was just like, you know, it's not a big deal, like, whatever. So the time came around for me to move in, and when I moved in, there were some signs, but I chose to ignore it because I was like, fuck, I'm so happy I'm getting out of home. So I moved in, and the youth worker helped me move all my stuff in. The 2 teenagers were acting normal, if you will. The second that the youth worker left, their friend came over. Now this bitch, let's call her Shaniqua, alright? So Shaniqua came over, and Shaniqua brought some fat durries and also brought some fat joints. And so they were like lighting up their bongs, smoking some weed. I was like, you know what, whatever, I ain't gonna judge. Like, you do you. I have nothing against weed whatsoever. And then they asked me if I wanted some, and I was like, no, like, I'm good. Don't really want to get high with you. Like, no, it's not 4:20. It's like 6 in the afternoon, and I have school tomorrow, so no thank you. So they left me alone for a brief period of time, and then that friend went home, and then it was just Joe Blow and Sam. So Joe Blow and Sam were drinking. They were drinking Jack Daniel straight, and Joe Blow was like literally coughing up his lungs, and I was like, bro, you should not be drinking that. Did I mention Joe Blow was 16? He was 16. So Joe Blow's drinking, Joe Blow's having fun. Joe Blow's asking me to drink with him, and I'm like, no thanks, Joe Blow. Not gonna lie, I had a sip because I just wanted him to get off my back. Jack Daniel's straight, yuck. So Joe Blow is drinking and drinking, and then I go to my room just chilling, like getting my shit together. I was low-key freaking out at this point because I was like, I'm literally living with 2 strangers, but I decided to just keep a positive mindset because I was so happy that I'd left a shitty home environment that I was in. So I was like, you know what, it's fine, just breathe, stay calm. But Joe Blow was starting to do shit that was affecting me. Then I hear Joe Blow throw up. Go out, and Joe Blow has thrown up all over the hallway near all of our bedrooms. So the entire space smells like puke, and it's freaking disgusting. And Joe Blow's trying to clean it up, and he's just really not doing well. And I'm like, Joe Blow, what are you doing? Like, just... like, what are you doing? Get some toilet paper, soak it all up. Like, come on, honey, get it right. So Joe Blow cleans up their vomit, and all is well. So that was the first day that I moved in, and it was not a first good impression, and it kind of just went downhill from there. Basically, Joe Blow, I soon realized, was supposed to be at TAFE, which is like community college here in Australia, because this share house was a student share house. So in order to live here, you had to be a student. I was in grade 12 at the time. Sam was in a really bad mental state, so they had dropped out of school, or left school, and was going to like work programs and stuff like that, but Joe Blow was supposed to be enrolled in TAFE. Like, the second day I was there, Sam told me that Joe Blow had been expelled from TAFE. How you get expelled from TAFE? I don't really know. Joe Blow had been lying to the youth workers saying that he was going to TAFE when really he wasn't, and those were the only criteria of living that house, is that you were a student of some sort. So he was already lying, but I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm not gonna be a fucking narc. So he's doing his shit, he's living his day-to-day life. Joe Blow is always high, like just always high. I have nothing against weed, like you do you. I know a lot of people use it to like calm their anxiety and it just really helps them go day by day. I genuinely have nothing against it. Don't love the smell of it. So then I find out that Joe Blow is not only on weed, is not only drinking profusely, but is also on crack. Now this is when I started to get worried. This is when shit kind of hit the fan. So Joe Blow would be gone for a couple days, you know, whatever, and then would come back high off his fucking kite. Now Joe Blow would have two different types of highs. When he was high on weed, he was funny, he was fun, we all got a kick and a laugh out of him. It was a great time. But when Joe Blow had just finished a crack bender, Joe Blow was freaking terrifying. Joe Blow would come home, he would just be screaming, he would be pissed, he would be tired, like his mood was just never predictable. I pretty much just would lock myself in my room and just stay there because I didn't want to be a part of this. He was eating my food, even though we all had assigned shelves. He was eating my food and it was pissing me off because I honestly could not afford to barely feed myself, let alone Joe Blow. And I was like, dude, can you like not eat my food? And he's like, oh, like I'm sorry, like I thought it was like in the community shelf. And I was like, really? Because like there's a label there that says Luke and there's a label there that says community shelf, so really like get your shit together. I didn't actually say that, but I just kind of let it slide. But he kept fucking eating my food. I will not narc on people when it doesn't affect me, but when shit starts to affect me, that's when I'll tell somebody. I don't care what the fuck you call me. I'm not gonna deal with you touching my shit when I can barely afford to pay for my own shit. So I told the youth worker, I was like, Joe Blow keeps eating my food and I can't afford this. Youth worker tells Joe Blow to stop eating my food. Joe Blow continues to eat my food. This was a constant cycle. It was really freaking irritating. It got to the point where I had a shelf in my wardrobe where I would hide all of the food that I knew that Joe Blow would eat. It got to the point where on my milk, I would have to draw a line every single time I finished using it and then wipe that line out and put a new line every single time I was using it, so I knew if Joe Blow was drinking it. Lo and behold, he was drinking it. I would always cook myself a really nice dinner and then Joe Blow would be like, oh, like that smells so good. Oh my god, like that looks delicious, bro. You can actually cook. Like complimenting the fuck out of me, like eating my fucking ass. And I was like, okay, like that's nice, mate. Like what do you want from me? And he's like, oh, like you should like totally give me some if you have any left. And I was like, no. And he just kept asking me nonstop for my food. And I was like, dude, like you have all this stuff, like just cook this. I would like fucking teach him how to cook certain foods. He was always just trying to guilt trip me into giving him food. And I was like, bro, it's not gonna work. It's not my fault you spend all of your Centrelink money on crack and weed. So I was like, no, not doing it, not doing it. Lo and behold, he would still eat my food even when I had leftovers, and it would drive me up the fucking wall. So that's basically what he did with the food. In terms of chores, we had like set chores that we were supposed to do. Pretty much no one really did their chores, but he was the absolute worst. Never ever ever did I see this boy pick up a broom or a mop or fucking wash a dish or flush a fucking toilet, for God's sakes. He was the messiest, most disgusting person I've ever met. If you even went into his bedroom, there were like cigarette butts and crack pipes all over the place. It was fucking disgusting. And it was really irritating because we would alternate chores every single week. The kitchen would be one chore, then dining, living, and hallways would be one, and then bathroom and laundry would be one. So we'd each get a different one every single week, and then the next week we would alternate. What was happening is we were each getting our chores. Joe Blow wasn't doing his chores, and then we would swap chores, so I would end up having to clean 2 weeks of mess because Joe Blow didn't do his chores. So I was telling the youth work, I was like, I cannot keep doing this. They kept telling him to get his shit together, and it just never worked. I was like, you really aren't doing anything. Like, he's just gonna keep doing this over and over again. And they were just like, look, we're trying our best, like there's nothing we can do. And I was like, try harder. Whew. So do you remember the friend that I spoke about, Shaniqua? Yeah, Shaniqua was really fucking annoying. Shaniqua would come over to the house and open the door and just walk in, wouldn't even knock, wouldn't even let anybody know that she was coming. Shaniqua would just come and act like the place was hers. She was so loud. These people brought over so many people. It was really irritating because I was at school trying to fucking ace my tests, and these people were being so noisy during the week when I was trying to get to sleep or trying to study, and it was really, really frustrating. What was even more frustrating was just Shaniqua. Like, Shaniqua just couldn't take a hint. She would just lounge around and pretend like she lived there. And even Sam and Joe Blow would bitch about Shaniqua when she wasn't around and be like, oh fuck, she's so annoying, like why can't she go away? Or yet they would never say anything to her, and I was like, just grow some balls and tell her that you don't want her there. But they would constantly ask me questions about my life, about what was going on, trying to add me on Facebook, all this type of stuff. And I was just trying to keep everything just like, you know, just keep a wall in front of us because I really didn't want to get involved with them. This was just a temporary living situation with me until I could finish high school and get another job and then move away. Really just didn't want to get involved. I decided to keep to myself. My door was always locked. I had my little shelf in my room where I kept my food. I was trying to keep as chill as mentally possible, but things just kept getting worse. So Joe Blow kept getting higher and higher and doing more and more crazy stuff. He'd be taking all these sorts of pills, going benders. We wouldn't see him for days, and he would come back looking like an absolute fucking train wreck. And then obviously he'd started to get in some debt. Now, we weren't allowed to have people sleep over during the week. We weren't allowed to have people sleep over at all, actually. You weren't even allowed to have people come over during the week. You were only allowed to have people come over on the weekend. Yet Shaniqua and a bunch of other people were always there during the week. Now, what would really piss me off is I could tell that Joe Blow was in debt. So there would be people he would bring over to the house that would sleep over, like for a couple of days, like 3 or 4 people. I don't like to judge a book by its cover, but holy shit, these people terrified me. You know, you just like see those people walking to the street and you cross the road just because like you don't want to be near them in case they fucking shank you. Like these type of people. I found out from Sam that because Joe Blow couldn't afford to pay for his drugs, he would let these people sleep over at our house in order for them to give him some drugs, because these people obviously didn't have a place to live or whatever, which is really sad. He was letting these people sleep in our house when he wasn't allowed to, and I was feeling so unsafe. I was already living with people I felt unsafe with, but now I was living with drug dealers. Really, really scary freaking people. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was so terrified. Can you just imagine living in a house where you feel so unsafe you can't even come out of your bedroom? I'd have to actually put my ear up against the door and wait to hear if people went around, and then I would go to like the toilet or go get some food. It was just so uncomfortable, and my anxiety was just fucking shooting through the roof. And I just didn't want to tell the youth worker, because every time I told the youth worker, then they would obviously tell them, and then they would get mad at me, and I was just trying not to get involved with that shit. But these drug dealers were just so fucking gross. They would eat my food, shit in the toilet, it would smell so bad, they would make a mess, they would eat my food, they were just treating the house like shit. And guess who was cleaning it up? Me. Because nobody else was cleaning, it was always me. Sam did help a little bit. I honestly didn't really have any problems with Sam. I thought they were just like a genuinely nice person. They were just going through a lot, and we were kind of friends. Sam smoked a lot of weed, but like I didn't have an issue with that. But Joe Blow was on crack and all this hard shit. He was just getting more and more downhill, spiraling out of fucking control, doing crazy shit, always high. Like, I don't remember ever seeing him sober at this point. So basically that is everything that happened when I lived with Joe Blow. Just wait till it gets fun. So Joe Blow was eating my food, not doing his chores, bringing people over and letting them sleep over, and just breaking every fucking rule that the youth workers set. But no, he still didn't get kicked out. The youth workers still didn't really do anything until this happened. So one night we hear like a massive pounding on the door. Joe Blow forgot their key. We're like, no big deal. So we let Joe Blow in. He's like,
yo Sam, like, can you show me a card? Like, can you give me some weed?
And Sam was always giving Joe Blow stuff, but Joe Blow was never giving anything in return. This time Sam just put their foot down and they were like, no, I'm not giving you anything. And Joe Blow was going nuts. He said he was really fucking sad and he just needed a code, and he's like,
come on Sam, just give me a fucking code.
And yelling non-stop, banging on the door. I'd locked my door at this point and just like sat in my room. I was like, I'm not gonna get involved, I'm just gonna wait till this dies out. But it didn't die down. I'm not sure what Joe Blow was on, but they were yelling so much. Me and Sam were both locked in our rooms, and Joe Blow would not stop yelling. He was saying that if Sam didn't give him a coin, he was going to kill himself. And then he started throwing furniture around. I was in my room just hearing all of this banging and crashing. I was freaking out at this point, hyperventilating, so anxious, because he started banging on my door as well. And he was like calling me a snitch. I was just getting really freaked out. I phoned my friend Kaylee and I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And she told me to call the cops, but I didn't want to call the cops because then I knew he would find out it was me and it would be like a whole thing, and I really didn't want to have to put up with that shit. But eventually he just would not stop banging things and screaming, and I was freaking out so much. I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't. So I called the cops and pretended to be a neighbor from next door. I was like, look, there's this kid screaming and banging things next door. He's saying he's gonna kill himself. He's really noisy. I really think you should go check it out. So then the cops come to the house. Joe Blow acts like everything is normal, and the cops knock on mine and Sam's door, and we have to come out obviously because it's like the cops and I don't want to seem suspicious. I come out of my room and I turn around. Joe Blow wrote on our door in like this red marker that he obviously wanted to look like blood or something, and he wrote on Sam's door, this cunt has a bong too. So he was trying to narc on Sam. And then he wrote on my door, rest in peace, snitch. At this point, I freaked the fuck out because I was like, he's gonna kill me. He's gonna get one of his friends to kill me. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I was so terrified at this point. Like, you don't understand the type of people that this person was hanging out with. Like, it was just really, really bad people. So I was really freaked out. I was crying, I'm not gonna lie. I was having a panic attack. My face was red. I was just shaking. Like, my breathing was really fast. Just like, imagine the situation that I was in. I was locked in my room. This guy was having a freaking crack attack, if that's what they're even called. I was freaking out, having such a bad anxiety attack, and the cops come in, and this cop comes to me, and do you want to know what he fucking says? He says, did you take something tonight, mate? What are you on? I was literally just like, so fucking shocked. This guy just assumed that I'm on drugs. Like, I'm sorry, there's a fucking traumatic event happening right now. Like, what the hell? Then Sam is like, no, he's just having an anxiety attack. And you wanna know like the cherry on top? I probably should have mentioned this before. Ours was not just 3 teenagers living by themselves. There was a caregiver who lived at the other end of the house, but he was like low-key fucking useless. Like Joe Blow was having this entire attack and he came out and was like, mate, could you keep it down? And Joe Blow was like, fuck you. And then he was like, okay, and just like walked to his room and did nothing. So I was so pissed at the caregiver. And then when the cops came, the caregiver came out and he's like, yeah, look, we've been really concerned. And I was like, bitch, how are you gonna come around and pretend like you were fucking concerned when you were staying in your room the entire time while Joe Blow was having his attack? And basically the cops told him to leave the house. So then the next day, the youth workers came to the house to inspect the damage, and the youth workers finally kicked Joe Blow out after everything that he did. Like 3 months of him doing all this type of shit, they finally kicked him out. When Joe Blow left, there's just the remnants of everything that he did, like all of his disgusting dirty dishes that had like grown mold that he never washed. We just threw those away. His room had to get professionally cleaned because there were like burn marks in the carpet and like cracks. So they cleaned all that shit up and just pretended like it never happened. But bitch, it happened. I remembered. And at that point, I like just never felt safe. But Joe Blow left. I never saw him again. Saw him like once or twice at a train station. Kind of avoided the fuck out of him and just ran away low-key. Everything was like okay for about 2 weeks. And then I got another roommate, and boy oh boy, was she a piece of work. So if you guys want to know about that roommate, let me know in the comments down below. But this was my roommate horror story. If you're watching this, Joe Blow, I hope you're doing well. I hope you stopped smoking crack. I hope life's good. Hope you have someone to sleep at night. I hope you're doing well. I hope you found help. And yeah, please don't kill me if you watch this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what you thought of it. If you want me to do more story times, if you want me to do more story times about other roommates that I've had, if you guys want to follow me on any of my social media, I will go ahead and link them down below in the description so you can follow me over there and we can chat some more. And if you have not already, please go ahead and click that subscribe button because I make 2 new videos every single week, and make sure that you turn on my post notifications bell so that you never miss an upload. Alrighty guys, that's it for this video. I will see you in my next one, and I hope that you have a great day or night wherever you're in the world. Bye! Fuck, I really hope he doesn't come find me and murder me. I'm like low-key so fucking scared. Like I'm low-key shitting my pants.